Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. So today in this lecture we'll study about geography question that came in GS1 paper in 2024. In 2024, if we see geography question, there was 7 plus 1. Total 8 questions are there from geography part. One question is, this question is required half knowledge of society plus half knowledge of geography. So either consider this question in society part or in geography part. In 2024, so there is 8 question. From 2013 to 2024, there are 100 marks allotted to geography question. On an average, 100 marks are there for geography question. If we see type of question, so there are 3 type of questions. One is static, first is static, second is static plus current, and third is current. See what happened from 2013 to 2020, UPSC focus on this part. If there are 7 questions from geography, so there are 5 to 6 questions are from the static part or 1 or 2 questions that is from static plus current part. But after 2020 to 2024, UPSC pattern is changed. So UPSC will focus on this part more. So if there are 7 to 8 questions from geography, 5 to 6 questions are from the static plus current portion, and 1 or 2 questions are from the static part. So if we see 2024, the level of question is moderate to tougher side, not on the easier side, moderate to tougher side. Let's move towards the questions. See, this is first question. So what question says, what is sea surface temperature rise? How does it affect the formation of tropical cyclone? So what happened in 2023-24? This sea surface temperature rise is very much in news. If you see, there are number of articles in Hindu on SST. In 23, there is cyclone named as Cyclone Freddy. This cyclone intensified rapidly. Rapidly intensification happened. And this rapidly intensification is due to SST, sea surface temperature rise. Then in 2023 as well, so first there is cyclone Freddy intensification is in news. Second, there are number of hurricanes with higher intensity in Caribbean Sea. So there are series of hurricanes in Caribbean Sea in 2023. Third, cyclone Biparjoy. So this cyclone came on Gujarat coast. So this was also due to SST. So these are all in news. That's why UPSC asked question on SST. So what UPSC did? UPSC, one second. So SST, this is current portion. and UPSC relate it with tropical cyclone. That is our static part. So in this question, first you have to define what is SST, and second, how SST will impact this tropical cyclone. So in first part, you will define SST rise, give some data of IPCC, UNFCC. Then in body part, you will write how SST affect the formation of tropical cyclone. So in this question, there are two parts which you have to identify and write. First, you have to briefly talk about the sea surface temperature rise, and secondly, you have to talk about how SST rise will affect the formation of tropical cyclone. See what happened. What is sea surface temperature rise? See, if this is ocean and this is upper layer of ocean, upper surface layer of ocean. So the rise of temperature of this upper layer of ocean is known as sea surface temperature rise, and this rise is due to global warming, due to greenhouse effect, climate change. So the rise in temperature in oceanic surface layer due to global warming, greenhouse effect and climate change is sea surface temperature rise. According to IPCC, so there is 0.6 degrees Celsius rise from past 2 decades. So you can also give this data also. Now what happened due to SST rise? So you know the tropical cyclone. For the formation of tropical cyclone, there are 4 conditions. First, there should be low pressure zone. Second, there should be presence of Rayleigh's forces. Third, sea surface temperature should be more than 27 degrees Celsius. And fourth is less vertical wind shear. So for the formation of tropical cyclone, these 4 conditions is there. If there are these 4 conditions, then there is chances that there will be tropical cyclone. See this. So the question is all about this SST. So for tropical cyclone, SST should be more than 27 degrees Celsius. So now what happened? Due to global warming, due to greenhouse effect, this SST is continuously rising, and due to this rising, the formation of tropical cyclone is increasing. The intensity of tropical cyclone is increasing because there is more warmer ocean now. See, if there is rise in SST, what happens? There is warmer ocean, So there is warmer ocean, means there is more thermal convection, means there is more evaporation. See, this is sea surface. If there is more intense heat or due to warmer ocean, what happen? The low pressure zone is created, and due to that, what happen? The hot air start to rise. So due to warmer SST, there should be more evaporation, and due to as there is more evaporation, as the hot air rise, so what happen? It start cool, there is condensation. So due to more condensation, and what happen? When there is condensation, they release what? Latent heat of condensation. So there is more latent heat of condensation. This latent heat of condensation further uplift the surrounded air. So this latent heat of condensation further uplift the most surrounding air. So what happen? There form more denser cloud, which is known as cumulonimbus clouds. So now see, this is tropical cyclone. For tropical cyclone, there should be low pressure zone. What happens? The air start rising. Due to that, what happen? There is condensation, and warm and denser air downpour. And they create a positive loop. So this is tropical cyclone. If you see tropical cyclone, there are 3 stages of its formation. First is initial stage. Second is mature stage. And third is landfall. Landfall of cyclone. See what happened in the initial stage. In initial stage, there should be creation of low pressure zone. The hot air starts rising, there is more updraft, and due to that there is more condensation. So this is initial stage. In mature stage, what happened? There is well-defined eye and eye wall are formed. So when the cyclone came into mature stage, there is well-defined eye and eye wall is there. So in this way, this is eye, this is eye walls, this is due to condensation, there is clouds, and when the saturation point of these clouds are breached, there is downfall as rainfall. So this is mature stage. And what is landfall of cyclone? See, when the tropical cyclone came in the contact with land, what happened? The fuel, which is warmer ocean, the fuel is cut down, and due to that the cyclone fall. This is known as landfall of cyclone. So this is initial stage of tropical cyclone, and then the mature stage, and then there is landfall of cyclone. Now what happened? The sea surface temperature rise. Due to that, there is more warmer ocean. More warmer ocean. So there is rapid creation of low pressure zone. Now the formation of low pressure zone is intensified. Due to this low pressure zone, warm air start to rise, and then what happens? There is more evaporation. Due to more evaporation, as air moved upward, it started condensing. So there is more condensation. Due to this more condensation, there is release of latent heat of condensation. More latent heat of condensation. This further updraft the moisture air. So this further updraft, and due to that there is formation of thunderstorm cloud. So due to that there is high rainfall, heavier rainfall. So this is happening due to SST rise. So first, intensity of cyclone is rising. Now due to this SST rise, the intensity of cyclone is rising. The cyclone are more intensified now because there is warmer ocean water. Due to that there is more evaporation, and due to that there is more and more rainfall. So first point is intensification of cyclone is happening. Now second, longer lifespan. See what happening? In normal condition, tropical cyclone lasts up to 1 week or 10 days. But if you see, cyclone Freddy lasts up to 37 days or plus, 37 to 38 days. This is due to SST rise. So second point is longer lifespan. Now the cyclone lifespan is greater than 1 week due to this SST. Third point is number of cyclone increases. You can give example of Caribbean Sea. What happened in Caribbean Sea? There is series of hurricanes. So there is series of hurricanes with higher intensity. With higher intensity. So this is also due to SST. As SST rise, there is more number of cyclone are there. So third point, there is number of cyclone is rising due to SST rise. Now the fourth point, cyclone prone zone increases. See what happened. If you see India map, so I am roughly drawing this. So here is Bay of Bengal, and here is Arabian Sea. So earlier what happened? There is more number of cyclone in Bay of Bengal. But due to this SST rise, so the sea surface temperature of Arabian Sea is rising, and due to that there is increase in the number of cyclone in Arabian Sea. See, now earlier what happened? This coast, western coast, Gujarat coast are less vulnerable to cyclone prone area. But due to this SST rise, this area, cyclone prone area, is increases. Now Gujarat coast is also very vulnerable to cyclone, tropical cyclone. So due to SST rise, the temperature of Arabian Sea is rising, and which affect the formation of tropical cyclone. So there is more number of tropical cyclone in Arabian Sea, and due to that this cyclone prone area is also increasing. So cyclone prone area is wider now. Fifth point, you can write higher rainfall. And more destructive cyclones. So due to this SST rise, what happened? There is more intense evaporation. So there is more moist air in atmosphere. So there is more moist air now, which is essential fuel, work as essential fuel for tropical cyclone. So due to this more moisture, there is more condensation and there is more rainfall, and destructive cyclones are there because of intense rainfall and intense condensation. Due to that, there is more destructive cyclone is there. So these 5 points you have to write in your body part. See, in the introduction. So in the introduction, define SST. What is SST? The rise in the temperature of oceanic surface layer due to global warming and climate change, and you can also give data of IPCC, that 0.6 degree rise from past 2 decades. In the body part, how SST rise affect the formation of tropical cyclone, and write that 5 point. What is that 5 point? First, there is more intensification. Second, longer lifespan. You can here give example of cyclone Freddy. Here you can also give example of cyclone Amphan 2020. Third, number of cyclone is increasing. Give example of Biparjoy. Fourth, cyclone prone area is also increasing. Give example of Arabian coast. Fifth, higher rainfall. You can also draw the diagram of tropical cyclone here. So after that 5 points, draw diagram of tropical cyclone, and then conclusion. See, due to this SST rise, there is more warmer ocean. Due to this more warmer ocean, there is more moisture in the environment, and due to that there is more evaporation, and as air moves upward there is more condensation, so which will intensify the tropical cyclone. So in this way you will draw a diagram to make your answer more presentable. Now see, in the body part you have to define SST with data. Now impact of SST on tropical cyclone. First, see, increase tropical intensity. Warmer SST, more moisture in the air, there is more intense cyclone. Rapid intensification, see what happening. Earlier there is due to SST rise, what happening, the time period from initial to final stage is now reducing. See, I told you there is initial stage of cyclone and there is mature stage of cyclone. So due to this SST rise, the transitioning time between the initial stage of cyclone and the mature age tropical cyclone is reducing now. Longer lifespan, now the cyclone life is more. Expansion of cyclone prone zones, you can give example of Arabian Sea. See, Arabian Sea coastline, and then higher rainfall and flooding. How to conclude? See, now what happening, due to SST there is more destructive cyclone is there. Cyclone prone area is increasing now. So there is increasing chance of chances of what? Coastal flooding. Coastal community now are more vulnerable now. So due to SST rise, tropical cyclone become more intense and destructive, causing a higher risk to coastal area and coastal area. Community mitigation and adaptation measures like resilient infrastructure and early warning system are crucial. So, but see, in this type of question, you explain SST, you explain how SST will impact the tropical cyclone. Now in conclusion, write one line about impact and then give solution also, like this is impact of this, there is a higher risk to coastal area. So, and one line for community mitigation and adaptation measures. So, one line on mitigation measures you have to write. So, in conclusion, define impact and then give the solution in one line. So, this is best solution for these type of answers. Now, let's move to our second question. Now, see, why do larger cities tend to attract more migrants than smaller towns? Discuss in the light of the condition in developing countries. So, the first part is, why do larger cities tend to attract more migrants than smaller towns? And discuss in the light of condition in developing countries. So, this question is about urban migration. So, see, migration is due to two factors. One is push factor and second is pull factor. So, what are push factors? Those factors which make any area less attractive. So, the people are moving towards another area which is more attractive. So, that factor which make them area less attractive. For example, lack of job opportunities, lack of education opportunities, lack of health opportunities. So these all factors make that area less attractive. So people are moving towards another city or another area where these factors are present. There is more number of jobs, more number of hospital is there. And second is pull factor. See, so there is migration. Migration is due to two factors. One is push factor, like lack of economic opportunities, lack of health opportunities, lack of education opportunities. So these all factors make that area less attractive. And one is pull factor. Pull factor are those factors which make any area or any city more attractive. So they are good job opportunities, more number of education facilities, higher health facilities. So these all factors which tend to that city. So these all pull factors which make them city more attractive. So this question is about this pull factor. Why larger cities are tend to attract more migrant from the smaller cities. So UPSC asks question on this part, pull factor of migration. So the question is about pull factor of migration. Now the second part, if you see the second part, say discuss in the light of condition in developing countries. So this trend that people are moving towards the larger city are happening in developing countries, not in the developed countries. What happen in developed countries? See, in developed countries like New York, Washington, where people are moving towards the smaller cities. So in developed country, what is happening? Opposite to developing countries. In developed countries, people are moving towards the smaller city from the larger city. But in developing countries, due to lack of technology, due to lack of public infrastructure, people are moving towards the larger cities. So here you have to first write the pull factor of migration, that why larger cities tend to attract more migrant than smaller city, and also discuss in light in the condition of means you have to discuss all these in light of developing countries, because this trend is only happening in developing countries, not in the developed countries. So structure your answer in body part. So in body part, here you define urban migration. So what is urban migration? When people are moving towards the larger cities from the smaller towns, and you also give data of UN. UN reports that 68% of people live in urban area by 2050. So by 2050, 68% of people are living in urban area. Now in the intro part, so in the intro part, you have to define urban migration and give data of UN report. Now body part, here you will write reason why larger cities attract more migrants. So here you will give 5 to 6 points that how larger city tends to attract more migrant than the smallest towns. And conclusion. So conclusion, one line on impact, that what happened due to this increasing urban migration, and then one line on solution. So in this way you have to conclude your answer. First, structure your answer in this way. So see what happened. Introduction, urban migration. I also told you the data of UN report. In body part, first point, why people are moving towards the larger city? Because of job opportunities. More number of MNC are there in larger city. You can give example of Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai. So the IT, more number of MNC, more number of jobs, IT sector. So all these are present in larger cities. Second point is more health opportunities. So you can give example of AIMS Delhi. You can give example of PGI Chandigarh. So all these multi-speciality hospitals are in larger city. So people from smaller towns move towards the larger city. Then the third is more education facilities, more number of coaching centers, more number of universities. So you can give example of UPSC aspirant. So UPSC aspirant came to Delhi. For UPSC coaching. So the more number of coaching center in larger city, the more number of universities are there, more number of education centers are there. So third point is more education opportunities. Fourth point, you can write about urban aspirations. See, urban center are more about modernity, open mindset, freedom. So what happened? Youth population from smaller town attract towards the larger city due to this modernity, freedom, urban mindset. So these all factors attract the youth population, mainly the youth population. So that's why they want to shift towards a larger city. So this is one factor. Fifth point, you can write about cultural capital. So the larger cities are now termed as cultural capital. So people are from different culture living together. So there is one culture also, urban dream culture. So people are attracting toward this culture, which is known as urban dream culture. So this is one point, that cultural capital. So these 5 points you have to write in your body part. In conclusion, see what happened due to this urban migration. See, due to this urban migration, there is stress on infrastructure, more number of slums are there, stress on resources, infrastructure, there is stress on resources, So this require what? This require balanced regional development. So in solution, you will write about balanced regional development and strategic investment in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So here, investment in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So in this way, you have to conclude your answer. For make your answer more presentable, you can also make that flow chart of migration, push factor or pull factor. See the model answer. See, define urban migration and give data on this. Then the reason why larger cities are more attract migrants from smaller cities. First is economic opportunity. You can give example of Hyderabad, Bengaluru, Mumbai, Delhi, hub of finance, government and tech respectively. You can also give this data UN Habitat Report 2020, where metro cities in developing countries generate over 60 to 70% of national GDP. Superior infrastructure and public service, good number of healthcare, sanitation. So all these infrastructure in there. You can also give example of Delhi Metro, AIIMS and major education institution. Education and skill development. See, give example of UPSC students are coming to Delhi for UPSC coaching. Then the social network and informal sector absorption. So the existing migrant community from same region offer accommodation and jobs and safety net. Large informal economy in metros provide job for unskilled workers. You can also give example of about 90% of informal employment is formed in urban centers, especially larger cities. So what happen in urban center, there is more absorption of these informal workers. Fifth point is about urban aspiration and cultural capital. That big cities symbolize modernity, open mindset and freedom. And then the conclusion. While larger cities offer greater opportunity, but it also increased risk on urban infrastructure and resources, highlighted the need of balanced regional development and targeted investment in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So in this way, you have to write this answer. Let's move to next question. So this is very simple question. See, Cloudburst is again in news in 2023. Kullu cloudburst is there. Uttarakhand cloudburst, always in news. So this is very expected question that UPSC will ask about the cloudburst. There is article, Hindu article also in 2024 on cloudburst. So what's the question say? What is the phenomena of cloudburst? Explain. Simple here is keyword is explain. So what is the demand of the question? First, define cloudburst. And second, phenomena of formation of cloudburst. Diagram of cloudburst and then conclusion. So this is the structure of this answer. Now see what is cloudburst. See cloudburst. Cloudburst is localized weather event. localized weather event, mostly in mountainous regions. And more in July to August. So what is cloudburst? Cloudburst होता क्या है? Cloudburst is not about bursting of cloud. Cloudburst is when there is sudden downpour, sudden rainfall, sudden downpour plus sudden downpour in small time over small area. So when there is rainfall, heavy rainfall, sudden downpour, heavy rainfall in less time in over a smaller area. So there is also definition given by IMD. What IMD says, if there is 100 mm or 10 centimeter of rainfall, 100 mm or 10 centimeter rainfall in 1 hour over a short area, which is 10 into 10 centimeter. So this is definition of cloudburst given by IMD. If there is sudden downpour, 10 centimeter of rainfall in 1 hour over a 10 into 10 area. So 10 into 10 centimeter square area. See, if this is small area and there is 10 centimeter of rainfall in 1 hour, then we say that there is cloudburst. See, the phenomena of cloudburst. So there are two conditions. One is normal and one in the mountain region. See what happened in the month of July, August. What is happening? There is monsoon season is going on. So in July there is more warmer air. So there is creation of low pressure zone due to moist and warm air. And due to this, what happened? There is more evaporation. And due to that, when the air rise in the atmosphere, what happened? It condense. There is more condensation. And due to condensation, they release what? Latent heat of condensation. And this latent heat of condensation further uplift the moisture and the formation of thunderstorm clouds are there, which is also known as cumulonimbus cloud. And when the saturation of that cloud is breached, there is sudden downpour, sudden rainfall is there. So these happen in the normal condition where there is no mountain. Now came here. Here is mountain. So in the month of July, here is land, creation of low pressure zone. So the moist air start rising. So there is updraft and there is monsoonal wind as well. So when this moist air came in contact with the slope of the mountain, it further uplift. It is also known as orographic lifting, upliftment of air due to mountain. So orographic lifting. So this further upliftment, which is orographic lifting, this rapid upliftment of air, and due to that there is rapid condensation is there. So what happened? There is low pressure zone. Due to this low pressure zone, what is happening? There is more thermal convection, more hot air rising, more updraft is there. So due to this updraft, when this moist air came in the contact with the slope of the mountain, it sudden uplift. This is known as orographic lifting. And due to this rapid or sudden uplift, there is condensation and formation of clouds. Now, due to this rapid condensation, there release more release of latent heat of condensation. So, this latent heat of condensation is also intense, which further uplift this moist air and make more denser cloud, which is known as thunderstorm clouds. And what happens when the pressure on this cloud is increasing and the saturation point of this cloud is breached, there is sudden downpour of water in very small number of time. So due to break of saturation of this denser cloud, what happened? There is sudden downpour of water, which is known as cloud burst. So sudden downpour of water in less number of time over a smaller area. So that's why cloudburst is happening more in the mountain region in the month of July to August, where there is more moist air in the environment because monsoon is going on. So this is the phenomena of cloudburst. You can also draw this both diagram. One is normal condition and second is in the mountain region. So also you can show in flowchart also. So how in flowchart, what happened? There is intense heating, so first is intense heating because summer is going on. Due to that, what happened? Thermal convection. More moist air is rising. Updraft of moist air is there. Due to that, there is more evaporation. Then what happened? There is orographic lifting because this moist air came in contact with the mountain and there is sudden uplift, which is known as orographic lifting. Due to that, there is more intense condensation because as the moist air move upward, so it start cool. So due to this more intense condensation, what happens? Release of latent heat of condensation, which further upliftment. So further uplifting of moisture. Due to this further upliftment, what is happening? Formation of cumulonimbus clouds. Then saturation of these clouds. Saturation point is breached and there is sudden downpour. So this is the whole process of cloudburst, how cloudburst is forming. So you can also present this phenomena in this flowchart form or the bullets point. See, so in body part, so how to write this question? In body part, define cloudburst, give that definition of cloudburst, give IMD definition of cloudburst. What is that? 10 centimeter of rainfall plus 1 hour over a 10 into 10 centimeter area. In the body part, first diagram of that normal condition and in the mountainous region. Then either you can write the phenomena of cloudburst in a bullet point or make that flow chart, that is intense heating, then what is happening, more evaporation, orographic lifting, and in that way you can present your answer. And then the conclusion. See, this is the picture of Uttarakhand cloudburst. So what happened, due to this intense rainfall, there is increase in the chances of flash flood, landslide, mud flow, debris flow. So all these are impact of tropical cyclone. If the space left in your answer, so you can also draw that flow chart of impact also. If there is space in your answer sheet, then draw that flow chart impact. What is impact? There is chances of flash flood, there is landslide, there is loss of property, loss of life, there is chances of GLOF, glacial outburst floods. So you can also write the impact of the question if space allows. So in the intro part, you will give definition of cloudburst, that cloudburst is a localized phenomena, localized weather, extreme weather characterized by sudden and very heavy rainfall in a short period of time. You can also give definition of IMD, then draw that diagram of cloudburst. This is land, this is mountains, this is here what is happening, updraft of moisture and there is orographic lifting, cumulonimbus cloud and sudden downpour. So in this way you have to make a good presentable diagram. So in body part, so this is question on cloudburst, all about cloudburst. So you have to write first 2 or 3 lines of cloudburst, then start the phenomena of cloudburst. You can write that this is localized intense downpour that can lead to flash flood, landslide, debris flow. Then see this, there is heavy rainfall. This is the diagram of cloudburst. You also draw this, either draw that diagram or draw in this sense. What is happening? There is sudden upliftment due to orographic and heavy rainfall. So in this way you can also present the formation of cloudburst. See first what is happening, high moisture in the atmosphere, then the sudden upliftment of moisture due to orographic lifting, and due to this rapid upliftment what is happening, air is rising, starting cooling, so there is rapid cooling and condensation. So what is happening, due to this there is instability of atmosphere, and there is, when the saturation point reach, there is sudden collapse of moisture. You can give example of this also. Kullu cloudburst, Uttarakhand cloudburst, Ladakh cloudburst, and then conclusion. So cloudbursts usually occur in mountainous region due to orographic lifting had to devastated impact on such area like flash flood, landslide, mud flow, highlight the need of mitigation and adaptation policy. So either you can conclude in this way or give mitigation and adaptation points. Early warning system, community-based disaster preparedness, strict land use planning in hilly area, improved drainage system, afforestation. So in this way, either conclude in this way or in this way according to your space. So let's move towards the next question. So question is, what is the concept of demographic winter? So here is the term demographic winter. Is the world moving towards such situation? Elaborate. So first is demographic winter and second keyword is elaborate. See what happened in 2024. There is two question. One is on demographic winter and second is on twister. So many aspirant doesn't know this term, what is demographic winter. They know that elderly people, if there is question that elderly population is rising and youth workforce is shrinking. So this is very easy question for all. All are able to write this question. But many people do not know what is demographic winter, so they are not able to write this question. Same as twister also. So twister is tornado only. So aspirant who know what is twister, so he or she will able to write that question. But the people who doesn't know this term, what is twister, so they are not able to write this answer. So what now, whenever you read newspaper, any magazine or scrolling Twitter, so whenever you read newspaper, magazine, or wherever you see term related to geography, that link to your static part, note it down on your paper and add to your notes. So these terms are very important because there are two questions in 2024. If the aspirant knows this term, so it is very easy for them to answer this question. So now, from now, whenever you see this term in newspaper, magazine, or in anywhere, then you have to write that term in your notes. So what is demographic winter? Now, what is demographic winter? So why the winter is used? Winter is used because of cooling down of economic growth. Due to this effect, which is known as demographic winter, due to this trend, what is happening? Cooling down of economic growth. So what happened? Economies are cooling down. So there is no growth in the economy, or the growth rate is decreasing because of this event. Now what is demographic winter? So there are two terms related to this. First is total fertility rate and second is replacement rate. So demographic winter is, what is demographic winter? When this total fertility rate falling below the replacement rate, then the situation is known as demographic winter. So first, what is total fertility rate? So total fertility rate is what? Number of childbirth by woman in her lifespan. So the number of total childbirth by a woman in her lifespan is known as total fertility rate. In India, it is 2. What is replacement rate now? Replacement rate at which population replace exit from one generation to other. So this is idle population. So idle population, rate at which population replace one generation to other. So this average, world average is 2.1. So what is happening? If you see in India, if you see the trend in India, what is happening? So total fertility rate of India is 2 and replacement rate is 2.1. 2.1. So in India, total fertility rate is falling below the replacement rate, which is 2.1. So due to this, what is happening? The elderly population is increasing and youth population is decreasing. So due to this less TFR, which is total fertility rate, birth rate is declining, and due to that there is more number of elderly population and less number of youth population. So these elderly population are dependent on youth population because they are not in workforce. For their needs, they are dependent on the youth population. So due to this, what is happening? There is cooling down of economic growth. So due to this higher elderly population which are dependent on the youth population, so this impact the economic growth of the nation. So due to this situation, the cooling down of economic growth is happening. That's why the term is known as demographic winter. So the demographic winter is when TFR falling below the total replacement rate. Now in question, there is a question for you. Is the world is moving towards such situation? Elaborate. So here you can give answer yes, because world is moving toward this situation. Yes, the world is moving towards situation. For this yes, you have to substantiate this yes and give data. Why you are saying yes? So give data here. See, so you are saying yes, the world is moving towards such situation. So for that you are giving data. Give data of Japan. Japan total fertility rate is 1.6 and total replacement is rate 2.1. So Japan is also moving towards such situation. Then give example of South Korea. If you see South Korea, world lowest. So TFR in South Korea is 0.78, world lowest. You can give example of China, where TFR is 1.6, 1.2, sorry, 1.2. So in this way you can also give example of India as well, where TFR is 2 and total replacement rate is 2.1. So in this way you have to give data. So if you structure your question, so in the body part you will define demographic winter, give data, then not in the body part, sorry, in the intro part. So in the intro part you will define demographic winter and give data. Then in the body part you will say yes, the world is moving towards such situation and give data, substantiate your answer with data of India, China, Japan. Then you give causes, why this is happening, what are the reasons. So why this is happening? Why this is happening? First, there is increased life expectancy. So the life expectancy is increases. Why? Due to increasing technology. So what happening? Due to this increase in technology or innovation, there is more number of vaccine, more good treatment. So due to that, the life expectancy of people is increasing. So declining death rate. Death rate is declining. So one reason is this, there is increase in the life expectancy. Now second reason is declining birth rate. So birth rate are declining. Now people are more educated. Women are empowering. Women empowerment led to planned pregnancy. So due to this, the birth rate is also declining. Third, you can give changing structure of family. Changing structure of family. Now people are more towards joint to nuclear family. Now people are towards the nuclear family. They don't want joint family. There is norm. There is one norm, हम दो, हमारे दो. So they want small and nuclear family. Fourth point is economic pressure. You can write about economic pressure because the living cost of child is increasing. सब कुछ महंगा है. Education, health, so everything is too costly, which will increase the pressure on parents. So there is increased economic pressure due to high living cost of a child. This is also one reason that there is low birth rate. So in this way you have to write this all point why there is a situation of demographic winter. So you can, for diagrams, see, you have to make your answer more presentable. So for your answer, you have to make diagram also. So how you will make? You can also make diagram of population pyramid. So this is in normal condition where birth rate is higher, then there is higher youth population and less elderly population. But what is happening now? There is inverse. Now the elderly population is more than youth population, and then the small 0 to 5 year population. So in this way, you can make diagram of population pyramids also. So in the introduction part, you will define the term demographic winter refer to sustained decline in fertility rate with rapidly aging population and shrinking working age demographic with significant economic, social and political challenges. It is increasing evident in developed nation and slowing surfacing in emerging economies as well. So this trend is happening earlier in developed countries, but now we see in India, in China. So in emerging economies, this trend is also now there. So now the China, India, these all are emerging countries. So demographic winter are now seen in these countries as well. So here, after that, you will say yes, this trend, many developed nation and emerging economies are moving towards such trend, and you have to give example, substantiate your yes here. Give example of Japan, China, South Korea, and then after that you can make this diagram of, this is population pyramid. So this is normal pyramid. Now in normal condition, what is happening? So this is positive population growth where birth rate is higher. So here see population of 0 to 5, 5 to 9. So this is higher, and the elderly population is smaller. It is also known as positive population growth. But in demographic winter, what is happening? There is inverse of this situation, which is known as negative population growth, in which this elderly population are more than the youth population, working age population, and then smaller number of birth rate. So in this way you have to make a neat diagram. Then reason, causes of demographic winter. First is declining fertility rate, because technology is there, more vaccine is there, more treatment is there. Then rapid population aging. So you can give data of this. As of 2020, around 9% of global population was aged 65 or older. This number projected to rise from 16%. See, in 2020 the age population is 9%, but this is projected to rise 16% in 2050. In Europe, over 20% of the population is already above 65. So you can give example and this data also, use this data. Then changing social norm and family structure, I already told you that. So there is changing social norm and family structure, delay in marriages and childbirth, preference of smaller family, nuclear families, increasing individualism and single person household, late rate of remarriages, more number of divorces are there, women prioritizing education and career more. So this is also one reason. So changing social norms and family structure. Fourth is economic pressure. See, living cost of child is increasing. Rising cost of living, education, healthcare, housing, youth employment, job insecurity. So all these increase the economic pressure on parents. So that's why people are moving towards the less number of child. Lack of pro-family policy, inadequate parental leave. So this is also a fact that there is no parental leave. Childcare support is not in India, and gender equal workforce participation. So all these also discourage the childbirth because there is no parental leave, because women are more focused on her career. So she want parental leave, but there is inadequate parental leave. Childcare support system is not there, government are not supporting, so no such scheme is there for child support, and gender equal workforce participation is also not there. So you can conclude this answer by simply saying the onset of demographic winter is, so this situation is not good for any economy, because what is happening due to this situation, there is cooling down of economic growth. So due to this situation, what is happening, there is cooling down of economic growth. So this is not good for any nation. So the demographic winter trend is not good for any nation, either they are developed or emerging. So while most visible in developed nation, has now started affecting emerging economies like China and India. Even India, in urban pockets, this trend is not inevitable, but it requires multi-pronged policy intervention. So what is required? It required policy intervention. So in this way, you have to conclude this answer. Let's move towards the next question. See, this is 15 marker question. So you have to write 250 words on this simple question. So the first challenge is 3 pages. Why this question is asked? See, in 2023, there was event Hanle village in Ladakh. So here we see the lights in atmosphere. Due to that, auroras are in news in 2023. Also in 2024, solar maximum was in news. What is solar maximum? See, sun का 11 year का cycle होता है. So sun has 11 year cycle. When the sun activities are more, so that year is known as solar maximum year. So in this year, there is more intense solar activities are there, more number of solar wind, coronal mass ejection, geomagnetic storms are there. So that year is known as solar maximum. So all these are in news. That's why UPSC asked this question. So question is, what is auroras australis and auroras borealis? How are these triggered? So first part you have to define aurora. What is auroras? Second part, you have to define the type of auroras. And third, you have to define formation of auroras. diagram plus conclusion. So this is a structure of your answer. First you define aurora, then type of aurora, then the formation of aurora. You have to write the process of aurora, how aurora is formed, and then diagram, and then conclusion. Now what is aurora? So auroras are lights. Blue, see blue, green, red lights are there in the upper atmosphere in polar regions. So these light are only in the polar region. In the northern hemisphere, it is known as aurora borealis. In the southern hemisphere, these lights are known as auroras australis. So these are auroras. So why auroras are formed? Why these light are seen in the polar region? See what happened. This is sun. See, this is here what happens. This is sun, and this is outer layer of sun, which is known as corona. So what is happening? This corona is emitting beam of charge particle. So there is electron, proton is there. So there is beam of charge particle, which is known as solar wind. So this corona, what happened? This corona time to time emits some beam of charge particle, which is known as solar wind. And here is Earth. So Earth has its magnetic field. So these magnetic field lines are moving from south pole towards the north pole. So what happened? When the solar beam came in contact with the magnetic field of Earth, so what happened? The magnetic field is disturbed. So there create a instability. So there is instability. So there what happened? There is instability. When this beam are interact with the interacting with the Earth magnetic field, due to that what is happening? So there is disturbance in magnetic field. Due to this disturbance, some charge particle came in contact with the upper atmosphere of the Earth. See, I am again drawing it. This is sun. This is sun. This is outer layer, which is known as, wait a second. Now see this is sun. This is outer layer of sun, which is known as corona. So what is happening? There is emission of charge particle. So there is beam of charge particle, which is known as solar wind. So this beam interact with Earth magnetic field. So Earth has its own magnetic field which act as a shield. So what happens? This solar beam are interact with the Earth magnetic field, and due to that magnetic field is disturbed, there is instability. So what happened? Some charged particles are came towards the polar side, polar atmosphere. So when they entered in the upper atmosphere, see some charged particle, due to high intense solar wind interaction, some charged particle are came in the upper atmosphere of the earth. So what happened in our upper atmosphere? There is particle O2, N2. So there is gas particle O2, N2. So what happened? These charged particle collide with these particles. So if the charged particle collide with the O2 or charged particle collide with N2, what happened? The electron in O2, excite. So when this collision happen, charged particle and oxygen, the electron in O2 get excited, and when these electron go back to its ground state, what is happening? There is emission of energy in the form of light. Same in case of N2, when the collision happen between the charged particle and N2 particle, the electron in N2 particle got excited, and when it came back to its ground state, it emit the energy in the form of light. So what happened? This energy in the form of light, if the O2 particle, if the oxygen electron emitting energy in the form of light, this light is red or yellow color. When the N2 particle, so when the N2 electron emitted energy in the form of light, so this light is purple and blue in color. So due to this interaction, there is display of light in our upper atmosphere in the polar region. So when these light are displayed in the northern hemisphere, then it is known as auroras borealis, and when these lights are in the southern hemisphere, then this is known as auroras australis. So this is the phenomena why these lights are displayed in the polar atmosphere. Now what happened? See, this is Earth. Sometimes what happened? This is Earth and this is his magnetic field lines. Usually what happens? These lights are displayed on the polar region. But when there is strong solar winds, which is also known as coronal mass ejection. So the intense solar wind with some plasma and magnetic field is known as coronal mass ejection. So when this coronal mass ejection is there and the strong solar wind hit the magnetic field of Earth, what happens? This span is rising. When there is less intense solar wind, then the auroras are formed in the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. So it doesn't see in the tropical region or subtropical region. But we see in 2023, we see auroras in Ladakh. So why this auroras is seen in Ladakh? So what is happening? Due to this greater number of particles are there, so the span of this is rising. That's why in some subtropical and tropical region, these lights are displayed. So that is the reason why some lights are displayed in the subtropical region as well. So this is the phenomena of, so you can use this diagram. So here is the sun, this is the solar winds which are approaching towards the earth magnetic field, and when they interact with the earth magnetic field, what is happening? some particles, some charged particles are moved towards the pole side because the Earth magnetic field is south to north. So here some charged particle enter the upper atmosphere of the Earth, and what happen in the upper atmosphere? These charged particles collide with the O2 and N2 particle. Due to that, the electron in O2 and N2 particle got excited, and when it reached back to its original stage, what is happening? It emits light in the form of energy, which display in our atmosphere and form auroras. So this is the whole process of auroras. So in our introduction part, briefly explain what is auroras. Auroras are captivating natural light displays that illuminate the night sky near the Earth's polar region, commonly referred to the aurora borealis in the northern hemisphere and auroras australis in the southern hemisphere. These phenomena are visible when charged particles from the sun interact with the Earth's magnetic field and upper atmosphere, producing wave of colored light. So here first write what is auroras, then you can also write in this way. So here first define aurora, then make this flowchart of type of auroras. So this make your answer more presentable. Here auroras borealis, auroras australis, then here in the northern hemisphere, in the southern hemisphere. Now if the space left, because you have to fill 3 pages here, so you can also make world chart for the location. So roughly make one world map. So in this way. I am roughly making it. So in this way you make a world chart. Here you will draw some location like Canada, Norway, Sweden, some part of Russia. Here what you see, auroras borealis, and in southern America, southern part of South America, Australia, New Zealand. Here you see auroras australis. So in this way you have to make the world chart also. If the space left, then see, either draw that map, flowchart, or in the pointer form, type of auroras, then trigger of auroras. So first is solar wind. When the solar wind interact with the Earth magnetic field, then the coronal mass ejection. What is coronal mass ejection? Large scale explosion from the sun corona eject massive amount of plasma and magnetic energy. Then this magnetosphere disturbance, when the solar winds or coronal mass ejection beam are interact with the Earth magnetosphere, then there is magnetosphere disturbances is created. Then the atmospheric interaction, when these charged particle interact with the O2 and N2 particle, emit the beam of energy in the form of light. You can also mention green light from the oxygen, red light from oxygen at the higher altitude, blue and violet light is due to nitrogen. Then you can conclude in this way: auroras are visual manifestation of solar terrestrial interaction, or it is interplay of solar interaction and Earth magnetic field. So it display the dynamic interplay of solar and Earth magnetic field. So these are the solar terrestrial interaction and are crucial for study space weather or space event, earth magnetosphere and upper atmospheric processes. So these are important for studying the space event or the upper atmospheric processes. The rare appearance of auroras over Ladakh highlight how solar activity can have global visual effect, and it underscores the importance of space weather monitoring system. So in this way you have to conclude your answer. Let's move towards the next question. See, the term twister, in actual paper this is not mentioned here. So the question is, what is twister? Why are they frequently observed in the Gulf of Mexico? So here question have two part. First, what is twister and why these twister are more in Gulf of Mexico. So structure, how to structure it? First you have to define twister. Then second, conditions for the formation of twister. That what are the condition for the formation of twister? Like cyclone have four condition, tropical cyclone. Same as twister, twister also have four condition for the formation. Then third part, why these are more frequent in Gulf of Mexico. So why these are more frequent in Gulf of Mexico. And fourth, here you have to make diagram of twister and then conclude it. So this is the structure. First in the body part, write what is twister, then condition favorable for twisters, then why these twisters are so frequent in Gulf of Mexico, then make a small diagram and then conclude your answer. So this is the broader structure of your answer. Now what is twister? So what is twister? So twisters are funnel shaped cloud. They are funnel shaped cloud that are extend from the ground to the upper atmospheric level up to 12 to 13 kilometer. So they are funnel shaped cloud. First, funnel shaped cloud that are extend from surface to upper atmosphere up to 12 to 13 kilometer high. So they are tornado. So what happened? So there are four conditions for the formation of tornado. So what are the conditions? Like cyclone, for the formation of tropical cyclone, there should be low pressure zone, there should be Coriolis forces, there should be sea surface temperature should be 27 degree. So in this way twister also have condition. First, they should be cold and dry air should be present. Second, there should be warm air and moist air should be there. Third, there should be high wind shear. High wind shear means there is more frequency, more intensity wind is there, more difference in intensity in wind. See, wind shear means difference in intensity of wind. And fourth condition is there should be flat terrain. Flat terrain. So what happened for the formation of tornado? There should be warm air mass, there should be hot air mass. There should be warm air mass and there should be cold air mass. So what happened? See, this is cold air mass and this is warm air mass. So you know that cold air mass is denser than the warm air mass. So what happened? When there is interaction, so the warm air rapidly uplift by the cold air mass. So due to this upliftment, what happened? There is intense condensation is there and there is latent heat of condensation and which further uplift this warm air mass and formation of, due to that there is formation of thunderstorm cloud which is known as cumulonimbus cloud. So if you see, there should be cold air, there should be warm air. Due to this cold air, the cold air uplift the warm air and this rapid uplifting of air, there is rapid uplifting of uplifting of hot air is there, and due to that there is more condensation, there is formation of thunderstorm clouds. And this rapid condensation, due to this rapid condensation, what happened? There is more intense release of latent heat of condensation, and this latent heat of condensation further uplifts the warm air mass and the formation of more denser cumulonimbus cloud. Now the third condition is high wind shear. So what happened? Due to wind shear, when this hot air is rising, due to higher wind shear, what happened? There is horizontal spinning is there. So when the air rise, it spin horizontally like in this way. So this is ground. So what happened? The funnel shape cloud is spinning horizontally to the height of 12 kilometer to 13 kilometer at the speed of 300 to 400 kilometer per hour. So at that speed they are spinning horizontally and moving to an updraft like in this way. So this is the formation of tornado. So there should be cold air mass, there should be warm air mass, and the warm air mass is updraft, there is uprising of moist air, and due to that there is intense condensation which release latent heat of condensation which further uplift that warm air mass, and due to that there is formation of cumulonimbus cloud, and due to presence of high wind shear, so there is horizontal spinning of thunderstorm cloud up to the height of 12 to 13 kilometer at the speed of 300 to 400 kilometer. That's why these tornadoes are so destructive, because see, when these tornadoes are so much into height 12 to 13 centimeter, 12 to 13 kilometer, so this tornado, what it uproot everything, uproot trees, cars and at the rate of 300 to 400 kilometer per hour. So this is the formation of tornado. See like this. See here what happened? The warm air is rising up to the height of 12 to 13 kilometer, and there is horizontal spinning is there due to high wind shear, and there is funnel shaped cloud, and there is formation of what? There is cumulonimbus cloud, and when the pressure is increased and the saturation point of this cloud is breached, what happened? The cold air suddenly downpour at the center and here create the high pressure zone. High pressure zone. So this is the formation of tornado. So here in the introduction part you will define what is twister. So twister, commonly known as tornado. Tornado is a violently rotating column of air that extends from thunderstorm cloud, usually cumulonimbus, to the ground. So it extends from the ground to the upper atmosphere or extends from the thunderstorm cloud to the ground. These atmospheric vortices appear as a funnel-shaped cloud that are capable for producing devastating wind speed exceeding to 300 km per hour, leading to destruction within minutes. So they are very destructive because the wind speed is 300 to 400 km per hour. While tornado can occur in various parts of the world, including India, Australia, Europe, so tornado are occurring everywhere in the world, but what is happening? They are more frequent in Gulf of Mexico. Now see why they are so frequent in Gulf of Mexico. So this is roughly map of North America. So here is Gulf of Mexico. So I told you for twister there are 4 conditions. One, there should be cold air. Second, there should be warm air. Third, there should be flat terrain. And fourth, there should be high wind shear. So if you see the map of North America, in the Gulf of Mexico, why the twister are more frequent? Because these 4 conditions are favorable in Gulf of Mexico. So there is warm air from the Sargasso Sea, from the Caribbean Sea, and also there is Gulf Stream. So there is presence of warm air in the Gulf of Mexico. Cold air here, here is Rockies, here is Canada. So here the cold air from the Rockies. So there is presence of cold air in the Northern America. So now flat terrain, what is here? Here is delta. Which delta? Mississippi Delta. Here is Birdfoot Delta, which will provide the flat terrain for the interaction of warm air mass and the cold air mass. And third is high wind shear. You know that here is larger number of hurricanes are there from here also. So that provide the higher wind shear in the Gulf of Mexico. So all these 4 conditions are most favorable in the Gulf of Mexico. That's why the formation of twister are more frequent in Gulf of Mexico. So all you have to write first in the introduction part, you will define twister, then you will write the condition favorable for twister, then favorable condition for twister in the Gulf of Mexico. See, warm air, moist air from the Gulf. The Gulf of Mexico provide a continuous supply of warm and humid air, especially during the spring and early summer. This moist air act as a fuel for thunderstorm development, a key ingredient for tornado formation. So, I told you that in the Gulf of Mexico, there is presence of warm air mass. Then there is cold air from the Rockies and Canada. So there is cold air mass from the Rockies and the Canada. So cold and dry air mass descend from the Canadian plains or the Rockies mountain. Then there is strong wind shear. Tornado required wind shear, which is the variation in wind speed and direction with altitude. Then the flat terrain. So there are Great Plains and Mississippi River Valley act as a natural corridor for the interaction of warm air mass and the cold air mass. And then the influence of tropical system. You know that hurricanes and tropical storm originating in or moving through the Gulf of Mexico often spawn embedded tornado, especially in the northern east quadrant of cyclone upon landfall. So you know that in the northern America, North America. So in the Caribbean Sea, there are more number of tropical cyclone. So they are moving towards the North America. See, this is North America. So here the Caribbean Sea. So you know that there is more number of hurricanes in the Caribbean Sea. So what happened here, the hurricanes, so they are moving towards the Gulf of Mexico, because when they hit the Gulf of Mexico, there is landfall of tropical cyclone. So this also give fuel to tornado, because there is vertical wind shear also. So this higher number of tropical cyclone in the Caribbean Sea which move towards the Gulf of Mexico also enhance the formation of tornado. So you can conclude this twister are the result of complex atmospheric interaction often involving sharp contrast in temperature, wind speed and humidity. So in this way, in one or two lines, you have to conclude this answer. So here we done all the question that came in 2024 from geography part. So I'll share this PDF on our Telegram channel. Our Telegram channel link will be provided in our description of this video. Hope this helped. Happy learning.